Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to tell you a story. Not a short one. Not a flashy one. But a real, deep, life-changing story. A story that might feel uncomfortable at times, because it talks about failure. And let's be honest, failure is something most people try to hide, avoid, or forget. But what if I told you that every successful person you admire today was once buried under failure? What if I told you that the very thing you are running away from is the same thing that can completely transform your life? This story is not about luck. It's not about talent. It's not about being special. It's about perspective. It's about how one ordinary person learned to turn repeated failures into unstoppable success. Let's begin. There was once a young man who believed he was falling behind in life. Every morning he woke up with a heavy feeling in his chest. He watched others move forward, friends getting good jobs, people his age starting businesses, some even becoming famous online. And there he was, stuck. No direction. No recognition. No results. He had tried many things. He tried studying hard, but failed exams. He tried learning skills, but quit halfway because progress felt too slow. He tried starting small projects, but nothing worked. Every attempt ended the same way, disappointment. With every failure, his confidence dropped a little more. Slowly, the voice inside his head became cruel. It started saying things like, "You're not good enough, you're wasting your time, others are smarter than you, success is not meant for you." And the worst part? He started believing that voice. One evening, after another failed attempt at something he had hoped would change his life, he sat alone in his room. The lights were off. His phone was silent. And his mind was louder than ever. He replayed every mistake, every rejection, every moment where he felt embarrassed. He compared himself to people who seemed to have it all figured out. In that moment, he didn't feel angry. He didn't feel sad. He felt empty. He asked himself a dangerous question: what's the point of trying if I keep failing? Many people reach this moment in life. Some give up quietly. Some distract themselves. Some settle for a life far smaller than their potential. But this is also the moment where everything can change, if you respond differently. That night, instead of escaping his thoughts, he decided to face them. He asked himself another question. A better one. What if failure isn't proof that I'm useless, but proof that I'm trying? That single thought didn't magically fix his life. But it cracked something open in his mind. The next day, he started observing successful people more closely. Not their highlights, but their journeys. He noticed something interesting. Every success story had failure hidden inside it. Not one failure, many. Rejections, losses, wrong decisions, wasted years. He realized something shocking. Failure was not stopping people from success. Avoiding failure was. Most people fail, feel pain, and then quit. Successful people fail, feel pain, and then ask, what is this trying to teach me? So he decided to change one thing. Just one. Instead of asking, why does this keep happening to me, he started asking, what can I learn from this? At first, this felt fake. Almost stupid. Failure still hurt. Disappointment still felt heavy. But slowly, something shifted. He stopped seeing failure as an enemy. He started seeing it as feedback. When he failed an exam again, instead of calling himself stupid, he analyzed his mistakes. He realized he didn't fail because he was incapable, he failed because his method was wrong. When a project didn't work, instead of quitting completely, he broke it down. What part failed? Why? What could be improved? This didn't make him successful overnight. But it made him stronger. He also learned another painful truth. Not all failures come from lack of effort. Some come from fear. Fear of being judged. Fear of being laughed at. Fear of starting again after failing before. He noticed how many times he quit early, not because he couldn't continue, but because he was scared of failing again. So he made another rule for himself. I will fail, but I will not quit because of fear. He allowed himself to be bad at things. He allowed himself to be a beginner again. He allowed himself to look foolish while learning. That's when progress truly began. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. And slowly, very slowly, results started appearing. Not big results. Small ones. Tiny wins that most people would ignore. He understood something important. Success is not built in dramatic moments. It's built in quiet consistency after failure. But life tested him again. Just when things seemed to improve, he faced a massive setback. Something he had invested time, energy, and hope into collapsed completely. This failure hurt more than all the others combined. It felt unfair. It felt cruel. For a moment, he thought, I did everything right this time. So why did I still fail? And this is where many people break. But instead of breaking, he paused. He realized that failure doesn't mean you did nothing right. Sometimes it means you did the right things, but success simply needed more time, more refinement, or a different direction. He remembered a powerful truth. Failure is not final unless you decide it is. So he took a break, not to quit, but to reflect. He asked himself deeper questions. What do I truly want? What kind of life am I trying to build? Am I chasing success to prove something to others, or to fulfill something inside myself? This reflection changed his direction slightly. Not completely, but enough. He focused on improving his mindset more than his results. He started valuing discipline over motivation. He stopped waiting to feel confident and started taking action despite fear. And something strange happened. The more he accepted failure as part of the process, the less power it had over him. He stopped being afraid of trying new things. He stopped overthinking every decision. He understood that no choice was permanent. You can always adjust, learn, and grow. Over time, opportunities began appearing. Not because he was lucky, but because he was ready. When a new challenge came, he didn't ask, what if I fail? He asked, what will this teach me? And when he failed again, and yes, he still failed, he recovered faster. He didn't drown in self-hate. He didn't quit for months. He adjusted and moved forward. That's when real success began to take shape. Not the success people see on social media. But inner success. Confidence built on experience, not ego. Self-belief built on resilience, not praise. Eventually, his efforts started compounding. Skills improved. Decisions became smarter. Results became visible. People around him began to notice. Some were surprised. Some were inspired. Some were confused. They asked him, how did you suddenly become so confident? So focused? He smiled, because they didn't see the years of failure behind that confidence. Here's the truth most people never tell you. Success is not the opposite of failure. Success is built from failure. Every mistake teaches you something you can't learn any other way. Every setback builds strength you don't get from easy wins. Every failure forces you to grow. If you let it. The problem is not that people fail. The problem is that people make failure mean something terrible about themselves. Failure does not mean you are weak. Failure does not mean you are stupid. Failure does not mean you are behind in life. Failure means you are in the process. If you're watching this right now and you feel stuck, if you feel like nothing is working, if you feel tired of trying, listen carefully. You are not broken. You are not late. You are not incapable. You are learning. And learning is messy. It's uncomfortable. It's full of mistakes. But every successful life you admire passed through this exact phase. The difference is simple. They didn't quit. They used failure as fuel instead of poison. They asked better questions instead of hating themselves. They turned pain into wisdom. So the next time you fail, don't ask, "Why am I like this?" Ask, "What is this preparing me for?" Because one day, you'll look back and realize something powerful. The failures you hated the most were shaping the strength you needed for the success you couldn't yet imagine. And that is how failures turn into success. Not overnight. Not magically. But intentionally. If this story resonated with you, remember, you're still in the middle of your journey. And the middle always feels confusing. Keep going. Your future self is counting on you.